Welcome to the discussion today of the pumps world market. This is Bob McIlvaine, and I'm going to be going over the online pump report, which we've been preparing and continuing to upgrade and improve for more than 20 years. In fact, probably in the neighborhood now of close to 30 years. And it's been cumulative as we've added new information and revised it. But we've just taken a major step forward from about 100,000 forecasts to now 272,000 forecasts, and they're provided in Excel charts with periodic updates throughout the year. And in a minute, I'll tell you why we've expanded the report to provide so many more forecasts. But the report includes the market shares for hundreds of pump companies, networking directory updates. There's a separate analysis for each industry with hundreds of additional pages of analysis on the online report. And I'll actually show you the actual report here as we get to the concluding part of the interview. And then we do have a number of recorded interviews and webinars that supplement the printed information. So why has the Pumps World Market Report expanded to include 272,000 individual forecasts and many hundreds of thousands of additional aggregates? The reason is that each number represents a unique combination of total cost of ownership factors. And for the successful pump company to be able to identify the cost of ownership factors in each of these niches is a key to success. And the report initially breaks pumps into four major types, and then we get breakdowns to all sorts of subcategories. But with the four pump types, we provide forecasts in 80 countries in each of 17 industries. We have it for the past 5 years and the next 5 years, so we have a 10-year forecast. And this gives us 54,000 forecasts, not including all the aggregates that you get, because each, for instance, each line in your Excel spreadsheet has the region and the sub-region in the country, and of course the industry and product. And so you can get all sorts of combinations of aggregations by product and country and industry and sub-region and region and so forth. But unique forecasts, there's 54,000 unique forecasts in the segment that we have been providing. But now there's a new segmentation. We've taken each one of these forecasts and divided it into four performance factors. And those performance factors are general, severe, critical, and unique. And each of these has a different set of TCO factors as well. And so that gives us another 217,600 additional forecasts. Now, general service pumps are sold based on price and delivery. Severe service pumps are sold based on abrasive, temperature, corrosion resistance. Critical service includes such things as hygienic requirements, and unique covers custom designs, your large pumps, your pumps that require a unique engineering design need to be treated separately as well. And each of these has its own total cost of ownership factors. So again, in a segment like rotary, you've got four additional forecasts now. And profit is maximized by focusing on the niches where the lowest total cost of ownership can be achieved. For most companies, these niches are more numerous and smaller than provided in the basic report. So for instance, you can segment by pump types within the broader four segments. Rotary can be broken out into vane, piston, peristaltic, lobe, and screw. And there are actually companies like IDEX that have separate pump groups with each of these different types of pumps within that group, and not directly associated with the manufacturer of other rotary pumps within IDEX. The 17 industries each have individual segments with unique TCO factors. Large countries such as the US often need to be segmented by state, or in the case of China or even Canada, by province. Pump purchases for the top 100 customers are also included. The 17 industries are shown here in their chemical, power, food, metals, petrochemical, mining. Oil and gas is split into upstream and midstream. Electronics, pharmaceutical, pulp and paper, refining, wastewater. And then the water segment is split into the municipal water and flood control, which is and irrigation, which is a separate type. A lot of separate types of pumps are used for those. But we are available, and we are doing a lot of work for pump suppliers in providing very specific segmentations and where there's lots of different costs of ownership. So here we are in the food industry where there are many different applications, and confection is completely different than meat processing. And but even within cane sugar and beet sugar, for instance, you've got two different processes. And cane sugar plants, for instance, have bagasse combustion and all sorts of unique processes that would have their own total cost of ownership. The chemical industry has many different applications, and therefore lots of different cost factors. The power industry has equal numbers. You're looking at nuclear and geothermal, biomass, gas, coal, and then the various storage potential that there is now. But hydrogen is another area that we're involved in the whole hydrogen economy of the future involves pumps as well. The metals, there's lots of different metal applications. Petrochemicals, again, a number of unique applications within petrochemicals. Mining, if it's copper mining, would be big in Chile, but not in some of the other countries. So in many cases, it's valuable to have it forecast for each different type of ore. And then oil and gas is not only broken out by upstream and midstream, but it can also be broken out by things like fracking. The pumps that are used by fracking are very specialized pumps. Many of them, the cost of replacement parts is more in the first few months than the original price of the pump. So those are all applications that can be segmented to a much greater degree than in the main report. Pulp and paper obviously has two big sub-segments when you've got recycled paper and de-inking, as opposed to the use of the wood pulp. Pharmaceuticals is unique as well, and the biopharmaceuticals is really taking off with very high growth, and cell and gene therapy and so forth within that is a particularly interesting market. So the sample Excel spreadsheet is displayed on the site, and then there's this video tour is going to be linked on the site, and you can listen to that. And there's the potential again to expand the report, and you can talk to me, this is Bob McIlvain, and this is my phone number and so forth. You're going to see that on the site. But at this point, let's actually move to the site, and we're going to end this show here and go to the site itself. And this is Pumps World Market. And you can click on the networking directory up here, which you see, and click on any company, and then you can see also that we have contacts and email addresses and other information about these companies as well. There is the company analysis, and so you have market shares. You can go in by rank, and this is something that we're updating to try to keep it to the latest 12 months, because a lot of these corporations have various different year-end dates. And then for some of the smaller companies that are private companies, it's not possible to even have the accuracy of having new numbers each year. So basically, this is based on the latest 12 months, and there's several hundred companies in the system there that we are providing information on. At this at this level, in the private studies that we're doing, there are thousands of companies where we get market shares in these very specific narrow areas. The left side of the pump report has links to probably more than 1,000 pages of information of the various different types, and the generic information, and then we get into a lot of the actual applications like desalination. You can see here mining, pharmaceuticals, chemicals, semiconductors, stone, pulp and paper, oil and gas, biofuels, metals, and stone and so forth, and power. And I'll just click on one to give you an idea here of how comprehensive some of this is. This is both a webinar and a PowerPoint presentation for the power industry, and it gets into all the applications within the industry, and then we link to some other PowerPoints we have too on things like wet calcium FGD, and then the recovery of the reclamation of your coal residues. And I'm just going to skip through some of the things to show you how comprehensive some of this is. We have other support databases and things that would have information on every pump user within the coal-fired power for industry, and we have their names in English, and if it's in Chinese as well. So we get into the various different diagrams and so forth as well, so that it's a very comprehensive information set relative to the processes themselves and where all the pumps would be used. And what this does is it allows us to, as a starting point, to understand what the total cost of ownership aspects are in each of these areas. And since we're also involved in the process, we have whole services on air pollution control and others on the separation and purification and so forth, that we are able to assist with total cost of ownership factors that would help a supplier determine whether his product should have a higher market share in a particular industry or process. So this is a quick overview of what the pump report is all about. We certainly welcome any questions. Again, it's Bob McIlvaine. You'll see a link to my name there. If you go into if you actually are viewing this um, in the PowerPoint presentation. So I'd like to thank you for spending the time with us this afternoon, and we hope to have a chance to talk to you further about our pump report. This is Bob McIlvaine signing off.